is Jumanji on the streets of Ohio. I'm Christine Roman. Schools are closed after grizzly bears and big cats and other safari animals break out of an exotic animal farm. Police hunting them down right now.
Recent events in Ohio ask the question of whether or not exotic animals should be privately owned and housed. We asked Manchester College students what animals they own and their views on the ownership of exotic animals.
I have 4 dogs, and they are all Dasset Hounds, which means they're wiener dogs.
At home, I have a dog named Chloe, and she is half pug, half corgi.
I have 2 dogs that are just mutts.
I have a dog, Bichon Frise.
I have 3 cats and a dog.
Well, I have Foxtrot Terriers and Barn Cats.
I have 1 cat.
Well, I grew up on a farm, so we have everything from horses and goats to, obviously, reptiles. And I have peacocks, geese, chickens, guinea fowl, pretty much everything.
I have a dog.
My feelings on the exotic animal trade are, I think it's really cool. I would love to own a tiger. That'd be awesome.
I think it'd be cool at first to have like an animal like that in your house, but then it'd be dangerous.
I don't know a whole lot about it. It seems interesting, exciting to have exotic pets, but it is dangerous too. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea. Like, having animals that are supposed to be in the wild in your house.
I disagree with it in the fact when people own animals when they really shouldn't be. Like if they're not qualified or if they don't have the right housing.
I think that people should have to have like a license if they're going to have a more exotic animal that's more dangerous in their home.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I think it might be kind of neat, but also could be dangerous if people don't know how to handle the exotic animals in the right way.
I think it's kind of cool if the owners can take care of the animals, but if they can't, I think it poses a risk to others.
15 minutes from North Manchester lies a limited liability corporation specializing in the breeding of small primates. Deb Smalley, owner and operator of Smalley Exotic Farms, discusses her experiences as a private breeder. Mark Weldon, general curator of Fort Wayne Children's Zoo, explains his opinions on the private breeding of primates.
This is Faith Eileen. She is 20 years old. She is my pet. She sleeps with me every night and is like a child to us.
They're not a safe animal to have as a, quote, pet. And we're talking about somebody that's going to put it on a leash and take it out. It's just totally inappropriate. As far as I'm concerned, that's my feelings. I've just heard of too many horrible cases of the animal either being... they're a social animal. They need to be with their own kind. They need to socialize with their own kind. And I'm sorry, a human's not a substitute.
We have raised, on the other hand, a lot of ostrich, bears, cougars, and a lot of those were just for fun. Because it's just, you start going to these auctions and seeing what's available, and you get licensed, and it becomes like a crazy game. Anyone that doesn't raise their exotic animals responsibly, I just don't believe should have them. There's no reason to do this. We are USDA federally licensed facility. You're supposed to be USDA. There's some people that are not, that just, cheat like in any business. But the USDA keeps very good track. I don't believe the welfare system treats our children as well as USDA does on the animals as far as our guidelines, our laws. We have routine inspections that are just, they stop in and check on you whenever they want, for whatever they want. And everything has to be, my books, our facilities, everything has to be ship-shape, my refrigerators, everything. So they really do a good job if you're following the guidelines. Anyone that doesn't, the animals can't do anything for themselves. Once they're in captivity, you are responsible for that animal. And it's no different than a child or anything else. You need to take that responsibility very seriously. And I just have nothing, we have nothing to do with anyone that does not love their animals as much as they do a family member, because they are dependent on you.
Primates, they are very social species for the most part. They need to be with their own kind. A lot of the bigger species are actually dangerous. Almost everybody knows what happened with the chimp affair up in Connecticut, where the lady was terribly disfigured by a chimp. And that wasn't the only case. There was a case out in California as well. Even a macaque, which isn't a huge animal, they usually become used to 1 or 2 people. Anybody else, they consider them a threat. They carry very in the case of some old world monkeys, they carry very devastating diseases like monkey bee virus, which is basically 100% fatal if you catch it. Most people cannot really afford the proper care, the veterinary care that they need. They can carry just about every disease a human can carry, a primate can carry.
My husband's job is, I always tell everyone, I'm management, he's labor in this partnership. His job is to do the husbandry, is what it's called officially, department. He decides who gets along with who, how many, you guys have one male to up to one female, up to 7 females is what we have, depending on how the group is in that hierarchy, how they live, how their personalities mesh. You want them to be very comfortable and so they don't fight and argue. They do kind of work it out within their group of who's the dominant female, who's the dominant male. So he works that out. So that's something that he just does by observation.
Primates are the classic social animals. There's a huge repertoire of behaviors that keeps the group stable. They're in these large groups in the wild because that's how they protect themselves from predators. That's how they gather food for the whole troop. You know, it's just part of their wildness.
I sell strictly to families so that I have control and I know what is happening to my baby. Take some responsibility for what you're raising and putting out in this world, just as if it was a child.
Primates, I'm totally against it, especially if it's going to the public sector. Private people should not have primates. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't private individuals that can contribute, because there is, if they treat them, you know, if they're treating the animals as if they're breeding them for, you know, helping the big, huge population, whether it's in a zoo or a private sector. There's a lot of people doing that. But if you're breeding specifically for the pet trade, it shouldn't be allowed. I think the government should shut them down. Don't issue them permits. I think it's totally inappropriate. Ain't nothing worse than seeing a primate with a diaper on it.
The views in this video express the conflicting ideas surrounding the breeding of primates for personal pleasure. Some condemn, while others condone the ownership of exotic animals.